welcome one, welcome all to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how great Lexuses are on the Rubicon, then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and germs. My name is Tyler, and joining me in studio today, back in studio, is the one and only Mr. Jimmy James Jet Black. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Glad to be back in air conditioning.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't have admitted that.
So I'm going to throw Jeep and James under the bus over here. Jeep and Rhonda and Jeep and James.
Okay.
They have AC in their Jeep.
Yeah.
And James said that he absolutely loved it, and he's going to be trying to find ways to put AC in his Samurai now.
His Samurai is so open, though.
I know. He'll just put it on. He'll have like a vent that just goes straight into his face.
Yeah, or one of those suits.
Or one of those suits. Yeah, like you can put up his pant leg.
Exactly. Yeah, that'd be funny.
An air-conditioned suit. Anyways, so good job, James. Way to see the light, buddy.
Well, yeah, after a weekend out on the Rubicon with no air conditioning, and then driving back into the city of Sacramento where it's been 100 degrees for the last 4 or 5 days, it was nice to jump into the house or the shop or the warehouse that has, well, my shop doesn't have any AC, but your shop has AC in the office area. So yeah, it's nice to sit in an air conditioned room. I'd rather be out on the Rubicon in not air conditioning though. Not you?
I don't know, man.
I almost sit in an air conditioned room over wheeling on the Rubicon in a non air conditioned vehicle.
Depends on what I'm doing.
Okay.
I almost died on Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah, Wednesday wasn't bad. Driving home was the worst part.
Yeah, driving home sucked for sure. But
we're leaving.
Oh no, it was just driving home sucked. Well, don't you have air conditioning in Clifford?
No, it doesn't work anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would suck then.
I had the 2WD-60.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I had too. No, I was driving around on the trail on Wednesday. I almost died. When I had to go out to Wentworth Springs and making that loop and everything. Like when I got into down to the spillway to air up at the end of the day, like my back was just covered and drenched in sweat.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, "How do you guys do this?"
It was hot. And those new seats that I put in, there's just more surface area on my body. They hug me, and it holds me in really well for bouncing around on the trail. But it also gets much hotter.
Yes,
because it's hugging me.
Yeah.
So that was sort of a pain. But I don't even think any amount of air conditioning probably would have prevented that. I still think I would have gotten pretty hot. So,
it does.
I don't know.
I took air conditioning and tinted windows, man.
Of Bobcat in 2004.
Yeah. See, it's been so long ago. You don't know what you're missing now.
That's true.
Oh man. Anyways, we went out on the Rubicon Trail. What did we do out there? What were we doing? Because we didn't tell very many people that we were going out there.
Yeah, I was trying to explain this to the assistant pretty much before we left. I think it all started with we had a listener down south that was interested in running the Rubicon and reached out to us and said, "Hey, I want to run the Rubicon. You guys want to go?"
Like 2 years ago.
Yeah, like 2 years ago this started.
Yeah.
And then we said, "Yeah, let's do a listener run."
Yeah.
Sort of or a patron run at that time, right? And so we invited we sort of said it on the podcast, under our breath in a way. And a few people caught on to it and messaged us and said, "I heard you guys might be doing a patron run. I'm interested. Put me on the list."
Yep.
And so we had a list of 20 something people.
We had a big list. Yeah.
Yeah. But we decided that we wanted to do it during the week. And that really dropped the list. A lot of people couldn't get the time off. And so so then we had fires and all that got canceled. So then, 7-8 months later, we're revisiting this.
Yeah.
And I sent an email out to everybody that was on the list previously and said, "We're going to try this again. Let me know if you're interested. Here's the dates we're going to go once again during the week." And we had 11 rigs on the trail with us.
11 rigs total.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And we do go through the rigs in the in this episode. So, but yeah, so that's sort of how it became. If you weren't contacted, don't feel bad. I think it was just one of those. It was a small group, and we wanted to keep it a small group. We didn't want to the chaos of leading 40 rigs, doing an event on the trail. We tried to keep it discreet and tried to keep it under our breaths and quiet and see who caught on.
Yeah, we had a couple of Snail Squad listeners reach out to me and said, "What? How come I didn't get invited?" I was like, A, you wouldn't take your truck out there anyways.
Oh yeah.
And B, we needed to keep it small. This is the first trip that we were doing, and we needed to figure out the logistics of it, how many people were going to be there that have never been on the trail before, what kind of rigs were going to be there, and so how much time was it going to take to get through the trail, kind of thing.
Right.
And so we kept the group fairly small.
And I think that was, to that extent, because the listener that reached out to us was a 3rd gen Tacoma.
Yeah.
Right. And we knew that was going to be somewhat of a struggle to get through the Rubicon. And that was another reason we wanted to keep the group extremely small.
Yeah.
Right. Because we knew we had Husband with, Hustle Nuts and his buggy out there who could make it anywhere in the Rubicon in a matter of hours.
Yeah.
Right. But we also had this 3rd gen pickup going out there that we didn't know how long or what was going to happen. So we didn't want to have a big group and just have it be this snail's pace through the Rubicon.
Yep. Yeah, we didn't want to be on a struggle bus, and we weren't sure how much of a struggle bus it was already going to be. So we kept the list pretty small, and we had a good time. So this episode is going to be kind of day 1. We recorded out there at Buck Island with Re-Rim.
Yes.
And so that's kind of what this episode is going to be, kind of a recap of the people we had on the trip, the rigs they brought, how day 1 went, and what was kind of some of the thoughts about the trail from somebody who's never been on the trail before.
Absolutely. But before we start the episode, we need to announce a winner.
Wieners.
So we've got one winner for the E-Spec Torque Wrench.
I know who it is.
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
Is it you?
Uh-huh.
No, it's not.
Well, yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Oh.
We ran a random name picker for the comments. I think there's like 500 and something comments on that post.
Is that similar to a random nose picker?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
It's somebody sticking their finger
to a spot.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called. It's called like name picker, Instagram namepicker.com or something like that. And you just type in the URL and of that post, and then it scrolls it and finds all the comments. And I put, the only, what do you want to call it? The only concern or thing that it eliminated is if somebody didn't put 3 at mentions.
Oh, I see.
Right, because you had to tag 3 people.
Yep.
That was a concern of ours. So if you tagged 1 person or you tagged 2 people, or, I think if you did at minimum 3. So if you tagged 4, it'd be okay. So if you tagged less than that, then it didn't enter you. It also doesn't enter you if you commented on somebody else's comment. You needed to make your own.
Had to be a top tier comment, not a sub comment. Gotcha.
So we got somewhere around 507. I think it was 570 comments.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was really good. And after the name picker scrolled through everything, it gave us the winner.
Is it somebody we know? Is it a Snail Squad person?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
And the winner is J Hovey 18.
J Hovey 18.
JHOVEY 18.
Nice.
Yep.
So they want a gear wrench E-Spec 1/2-inch drive removable head torque wrench.
Yes.
Wow. That's pretty freaking cool. Have you reached out to him already? Or
I have not. I ran it and I drove down here.
Nice.
So I have the video. I'll throw the video up today.
Cool.
And then tag them so they'll know.
That's pretty freaking cool.
Yep. So that'll be fun.
Hopefully he doesn't want it and I get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't want to, accept the free shipping and we can keep it.
Right. That's funny.
So
congratulations, Jay Hovey.
Jay Hovey, whoever you are.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So sorry to everybody else. We only had one to give away. But this week here is still going on for a couple more days. And so make sure you're signed up by tagging a buddy over on the reel showing off the EVA foam trays on Snail Trail 4x4. And it's now on the 4x4 Toyota Tyler as well. So
good. Yeah.
Yep. You guys can get on there, tag a buddy, and it's unlimited entries, however many buddies you want to tag. And winner will be drawn on Sunday night.
Yep.
And so late night, Sunday night.
Because I'm leaving on Monday morning.
Exactly.
So it'll get drawn.
Yeah.
And we're Pacific time. So, I'll do it late and all those East Coasters will be asleep.
There we go. Perfect. And so the winner is going to be you and the buddy you tag.
Yes.
You're each going to win a set of 5 EVA foam trays.
Those
the ones
so
that are listed.
Good. They looked so good.
I know
in my tool drawers.
Yes.
I almost didn't want to take them out.
Yeah.
I know. It was.
I need to get some of those.
Yeah.
Corey.
They're really nice.
Anyways, so
that post is already over, I think, 3,000 comments.
It is. It was at 3,100 this morning, I think.
Yeah. So biggest giveaway comment wise for sure. I think on that one. No boost. I haven't promoted it. I haven't done anything.
It's all just been 100% grassroots.
Yeah,
nice.
It's crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's doing really good. So get on there. You have a matter of days to post on that, and hopefully you win.
Cool. I like it. And then that will conclude Tool Month. We'll do the drawing for the tool chest and the EVA foam trays. I don't know if we're going to do it while we're up at Overland Expo or if we'll do it once we get back from Overland Expo. It just depends on how busy and chaotic that ends up being, that trip. So that's next week. Jimmy's leaving Monday. I'm leaving, I think, Thursday morning to get up there. And then Jimmy's coming back Thursday or Friday, and I'm coming back the next Thursday or Friday.
I'm driving home Saturday.
Okay.
But then on Sunday, I'm driving to Carmel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we've said it before, but January is going to be a shit show for us.
July?
Yes, thank you. July is going to be a crazy, crazy month.
Yep.
Tyler and I have a lot of things going on. We're going in multiple different directions, so we'll do our best to keep the schedule going. We've written the schedule out.
Yeah.
Now it's a matter if we could continue to keep that going. So
yeah,
we'll do our best.
Yeah, I'm going up for Overland Expo Thursday morning. And then I get to go on a fun trip with Trail Gear and Milestar tires.
I'm so jealous.
After Overland Expo, which they're kind of doing like an ultimate adventure kind of style where they're just saying, hey, show up at this place at this time on this day, and then you'll figure out the agenda as we go through the week.
That's so cool.
So that'll be really fun. I'm going to take Kermit and tow the trailer, the camping trailer. And then as soon as I get back on Friday, I have to turn around and the Mad Hatters are doing a summer camp out Friday, Saturday, Sunday up at Gold Lake. So I'm going to get back from Overland Expo and the Trail Gear Milestar trip and then go straight to the Mad Hatters picnic at Gold Lake.
Do you need to borrow the fridge?
The fridge? No.
My fridge?
No, I'm not taking Otter Pops this time.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I broke my handle on the fridge.
Oh, no.
Because I loaded the fridge into Clifford with the thoughts that somebody might be at the trailhead to help me load it into Bobcat. And nobody was. And so when I lifted the fridge out of Clifford and went to do that hoist to lift it into Bobcat,
snap the handle off.
The handle snapped off.
Boop. Oopsie doopsie.
Yeah. Luckily, it had the spring out handles, like a handle that sprung out that is easy to grab, but then it also has like built-in handles that are
so like a little shelf handle.
Yeah, thing. A little shelf handle. So there's still a shelf there. So we'll see. I also broke my ladder on this trip. On the rooftop tent. But we'll get into some of that later.
Yeah, you broke some other stuff too. We'll get into that. So yeah, I don't know. Let's keep this short and sweet because the talk with Lee, with Mr. Rim from Cruising to Camp and Solve Function was highly entertaining, I think. And there's some fun stories going on from day one. So shall we cut off here?
Yeah.
And head over and see what Lee's been up to here?
Yeah, let's do it. It'll be fun. It was kind of fun to have him run the show a little bit.
Yeah, it was. It was really nice because I was sleeping.
Pretty much.
I was napping.
You were full all out reclined for like half of the episode.
Yes, I was. I was trying to see if I could just like leave the microphone on my chest and talk, but I had to like pull my head up to do that, and that was too much effort. So
too funny.
Anyways, so here's the episode recap of day 1 of the Snail Squad trip out on the Rubicon Trail. Hope you guys enjoy, and then we'll have day 2 and 3 coming out next Thursday. Sound good?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, go ahead,
Grab your favorite beverages that you would consume around the campfire, because that's where we were sitting.
Thank you. We'll be right on back.
We are going on a trip. Are you in? This is Lee Lim cruising to camp. We are on the Rubicon recording at the campfire with Snail Trail 4x4 at the Patreon run.
It's called Snail Squad.
This is the Snail Squad?
Yeah, it's Snail Squad now.
Not the gastropod.
Since we don't really use Patreon anymore.
Oh, that's right. Because moved to the beautiful place we call Irate.
Yeah, the dark side. Yeah.
Yeah. So on the mics we have
Jimmy Jet.
And
over here with Bobcat and
Tyler. I don't know if anybody else had a microphone.
You can laugh.
We have a live audience here tonight.
We're in front of a live audience.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We've got some friends, some followers, some people that have never listened to us probably a day in their life, but
Dave
is a good buddy of mine from way back in the day in high school.
It's all right. We talk about Forerunner Dave on the podcast a lot, which is good that he doesn't listen. So
yeah,
mm-hmm.
We make fun of him.
Going around the horn after that, we got James.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We have Tom.
Land Cruiser Hoarder. Wait, and I can never pronounce
Hoarder. How many does he have?
He's got like 6.
What? Is he going to give me a 60 series?
He only has 160 series.
Oh.
This is the best way to run the Rubicon the first time. No, to bring
somebody experienced
spotter who has got experience in a Land Cruiser. That's how you do it.
Hey Tom, how's your spleen after today?
He said he's peeing blood.
That was when he rode in the Tacoma.
He rode in my truck, which isn't a Tacoma.
Oh, well, a pickup.
There you go.
All right.
Let's see.
And then Brian.
Brian,
on the hill.
Way up on the hill.
Tail Gunner Taco.
Tail Gunner Taco today.
He
and
got
Tour Guide
promoted.
Taco for a little while.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
And then, does he have the red light district going on up there?
Maybe you should go find out.
He's got a fire going on in his rooftop tent.
Yeah. And then we have Jacob and his special lady friend.
Hannah?
If any of you guys watch Big Lebowski, there's a good reference for you.
All right. Fantastic.
It's Hannah? Hannah, yeah.
All right.
Now, is it the palindrome Hannah, or do you have no H on the end? Okay, she's the palindrome.
Palindrome.
Hannah. Nice.
Start calling her race car.
Race car.
All right, Lee. It's your podcast.
Yes. All right. So.
Oh, that's right.
I have been dreaming about coming on the Rubicon with the Land Cruiser.
It's a Lexus.
The Lexus. LX450. It's not a Land Cruiser. If it's not a Land Cruiser, thank you, Dan. For a couple of years now. And now it's come about thanks to the Patreon run.
Snail Squad.
Snail Squad.
Oh, Snails. The Snail Squad run. So, listen to Snail Trail 4x4, but we started on 2 days ago? 2 nights ago.
I don't know where we're at anymore.
1 night ago. Yesterday.
Wow.
Did we start
Today
yesterday?
seems like it's been 4 days.
Yeah.
But we did start yesterday.
It's been a bit.
On Monday.
Started at the spillway.
Yep. Loon Lake Spillway.
Yep. A few of us were there a night early. Spent the night there.
Some bears came into my campsite while I was sleeping.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I took pictures.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, a little teabag happened. It's a good night.
Yeah, those kind of bears, not.
Dingly bears.
Uh-huh. Yep. So we started there. 8 o'clock in the morning was rollout time. Right?
Yep.
Wells Taco met up with us, along with his buddy Ray. Who else was there that's not here now?
We had Nick.
Yeah. Made a valiant effort.
Valiant. He did okay.
He showed up
Well,
in his
He's on the
Jeep,
trail, he
though.
did okay?
Yeah. He did show up in a Jeep.
He showed up in a Jeep, and then we had to tow him through half of the trail.
Ooh. That Jeep is luxurious.
He let you drive it through Little Sluice, but we'll get to that a little later, I guess.
Yep. Yep. So, yeah, started out in the morning. Easy going. Right?
Yeah.
What was the first obstacle we hit after that?
We go through Gatekeeper right out of the bat. We go over a little slab, drop down, and then pretty much you do a little bit of rocks, and then you hit Gatekeeper pretty soon.
Yeah, and that went decent. And I remember exclaiming, "Oh, I made it past the Gatekeeper. I must be fine for the rest of the trail."
Was that true?
Yeah. I mean, a little struggle bus, but nothing terrible.
Yeah, I think so. I think you finally learned how to play with your lockers a little bit more once you got into that Gatekeeper, and then I don't think you turned them off since then.
No, there was my spotter was very vigilant, making sure I did not keep them on all the time, as I usually would. But usually, if I'm going up something hard, it's usually either lockers or steering. You pick one or the other for the front.
Oh. Unless you have hydro assist, because then you can turn again.
Yeah, well, I don't have that. Not yet.
Yeah. Luxuries, I guess.
Yes. Lexus things. It's got to be comfy. It's got to be stock-ish. It's an overland vehicle, right?
Not this weekend. This weekend it was a heavy rock crawler.
Yeah. So we pulled through the Gatekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
Then to where?
Well, you pop out Snail Hill, and you drop into the Granite Bowl. What did you think of the Granite Bowl? It was your first time actually coming upon it, looking at it, seeing it with your own eyes. Is it anything like what we've explained on the podcast before? Or was it bigger?
It was bigger and just reminded me of Moab.
Yeah, I can see that.
Just coming across
Kind of
those big
vast.
slabs.
Yeah.
And just rolling down. A little off camber here and there, but nothing, well, not as off camber as Moab either. So it was, after Moab, it was chill. If I hadn't done Moab, it might not have felt as chill.
Yeah, but then later you go down the trail and you learn that those slabs are actually very tame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the calm of the storm.
Yeah.
Okay. So down the slabs.
Yep, and then you go up the other side of the Granite Bowl, and you go through Whale Bones, which is a fun little climb. There's a good little rock garden down there at the bottom, and then you head up the steep climb, and then pretty much it's just some rocky boulder piles until you get to Wentworth Springs and Ellis Creek, which is where our first stop was.
Oh, yeah. And the Jeep was stuck at the beginning of Whalebones, right?
Yeah,
That was the Jeep that was busted?
The Jeeps were broken all over the trail.
Oh.
It was a broken Jeep trip.
Supposedly
for sure.
there's an XJ on our way out that has electrical problems. They can't figure out how to even get it to turn over.
Oh, right, yeah. So through Whalebones, through a little rock garden. That all, from what I remember, seemed to go okay for everybody.
Yeah, I think that all went pretty smooth. Tyler, something happened at the top of Whalebones, and we were sort of congested at the top there, and with was it Ray and Rob, that you were looking over something? Because then I had to go through that pinch side.
Oh, that's right. Rob, his third member, his pinion guard, bent upwards into his drive shaft. And so he had to pull out a BFH and bend it back. So it wasn't rubbing on his drive shaft anymore. So they did that. I think he did that like 2 or 3 times throughout the trip.
Yeah, the pinion guard bent and was rubbing.
Well, it kept it from breaking his pinion, maybe.
Maybe. So besides that, smooth sailing all the way up there.
Mm-hmm. So
Before we get too much further, can we talk about all the vehicles? Kind of the wide range of vehicles we had on the trip?
yeah. So your guys' vehicles, of course. We have the
Kermit made it. So did
Kermit.
Bobcat.
and Bobcat through all kinds of transfer case and manual transmission issues.
Yep. We weren't sure if both rigs were going to be making it at one point.
That's true. And they did show up. So Bobcat is a 91 Toyota pickup. Solid axle swapped, 37-inch tires, 529s, locked front and rear. Dual cased with a 4.7 in the back, and all that's being pushed by 22 RE.
Very nice. And then Kermit, the second gen 4Runner, 3.4 motor. Same axles right now?
Yeah, pretty much the same axles that's under Bobcat. Just a little bit more beefed up so I can run the 40s on them.
40-inch tires.
Are they more beefed up?
Hmm?
What's more beefed up?
The trusses on stuff, the hub studs. You have the disc brakes now finally on Bobcat.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say the trusses and gussets and hub studs are definitely more on Kermit's axles than Bobcat's.
Well, I have the gussets. You got trusses. I have gussets.
For everything?
Ball gussets?
Well, no, for everything.
The steering stop gussets and
I got
the
those.
ones on the end of the balls.
Yep, got all those.
Yeah. But he's got the big trusses and you don't?
You got trusses.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
I've only bent one axle in my life. And that was jumping in Pismo.
Oh.
So
Well, that'll do it.
yeah.
Okay. So then the next 4Runner was Tyler's old 4Runner. Now Jacob's. First gen. White. Really capable.
529s? Dual cased.
22 RE. Lockers.
ARBs front and rear. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
They can't hear them, you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
6 shooters, hydro assist. Very well built first gen 4Runner. Very capable. And then, so I guess what was next in line behind him? We had Dave in the 4Runner.
Yep.
Another first gen 4Runner.
Which is pretty much everything we just said except not ARBs. Oh, but you have you have ARBs now, and you have Land Cruiser FJ80 axles underneath, which is a new addition. 22 RE, dual case, 4.7 rear, Land Cruiser axles. What gearing? 529s.
Nice. Half doors.
ARBs. Half doors. Yep.
Yeah, that thing's
Had
rad.
that rig since
2002 or 3.
2002 or
Early
3.
2000.
Yeah, he's had it for
20 years.
a long time, and it's gone through a few transformations for sure.
2 decades. Okay, and that's it for the first gen 4Runners.
Yep.
All right, and then
And that's all for the second gen 4Runners.
A couple of tacos.
Yeah, we had Weld's Taco, who has a pretty rad third gen Tacoma. Dual cab, short bed, 35s, new, I believe, like different upper control arms, different lower control arms. He's got the archive garage like kit in the rear with dirt fab like spring or shackles and He's got it works. He's got probably he's locked front and rear, probably 529s in those diffs as well. He's not around the campfire, so we can't ask him. But his rig's built to the T's. Yeah, it's really nice.
Mm-hmm. And then his buddy Ray.
And then buddy Ray. I don't know too much about Ray. Haven't just met him this weekend. But more or less, I would assume it's roughly the same. Different upper control arms, different lower control arms. 35s. 529s, locked front and rear. He was on a second-gen Tacoma Access cab, long bed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 6-foot bed.
Yep, and he had cambered upper arms.
Okay.
And somehow he threw a rock up into the upper control arm and sliced his ABS line.
On this trip?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. I didn't know that.
Yeah, a little crazy. But they came all the way from SoCal.
At some point.
Dang. Yeah, they drove all the way from L.A., San Diego region to come up here and join us. And driving home without ABS now.
Mm-hmm. Which is not so bad on that vehicle.
Nah.
And then what? Some crazy vehicles?
Well, and then we had that Jeep, the Gladiator, Dana 30 front, 29-inch tires. With a Go Fast camper.
Yes.
And a Mountain Fatch.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So that was Nick.
Yep.
Made Man.
Yep.
Is it Made Man? Made Man 925?
I thought it was Maiden.
Maiden? Nick.
Nick.
It's got a beautiful 80. Sits
all the time.
Yeah.
Doesn't move.
It doesn't.
Sorry, Nick. You're going to get it.
Sits in, not even at his house, at a buddy's house.
No.
Just storing it for him. 5-star review.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hustle.
Oh, jeez.
What year is that vehicle?
It came out of, well, the chassis is custom made. The engine is a 22 RE out of his 1985 Toyota pickup. Same with the transmission, which is probably a W56.
Mm-hmm.
Dual cased, 4.7 in the rear. He's running Spider Trax axles.
Is this the first run on those, or?
Well,
Bougie?
minus like Sand Hollow. I think he
Okay.
went to
Well,
Sand
he
Hollow.
ran-
And then he did a Rubicon run with
Yeah.
Mad Hatters.
Yeah. 2
And
or
now-
3 weeks ago.
Yeah, two or three.
Okay.
Well, depending on how many times you count a run in Sand Hollow. But
So they're still they
they're new. They probably put a new scratch on them this
Okay.
trip. Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because Jason said it was under his rig, and it was too clean.
Right. It's always clean, though.
Oh, okay.
But it's ORIs, all 4 corners. It's a really gorgeous rig.
Nice. Any rigs we're missing?
James.
James's
Oh,
rig.
That was the no issues rig.
Yeah, pretty much.
No problems, nothing.
You know why?
Trucked.
I didn't know about this until today.
Why?
It's Justin Hall's old rig.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Wow.
With a few things changed in regards to switching over, but yeah, I don't know where James went, but it's a 89 Toyota pickup extra cab, 22 RE, probably a W56, 2 T cases, 4.7 in the rear, 529s in the axles. He's done a solid axle swap with a mini truck axle. I don't know if he has 6 shooters or not, but yeah, it's pretty much like Bobcat. It's like almost the same exact thing with only a few little differences, like
Straighter body panels too.
yeah, straighter body panel. It's cleaner, except he did get a dent on this trip.
He did? Fender?
Yeah, front driver side fender.
Mm-hmm.
Different like front leaf springs. That's really about the difference.
Okay.
And the whole like out of the building a rig. It's crazy.
It would be fun to watch you, James, and Beer Andy go on trips.
So I thought when I was doing the Esprit 4 safety clinic over a year ago, that truck came rolling up into camp, and I thought it was Beer Andy. And I flagged him down.
Justin Hall's.
And I was like, you're not Beer Andy. And it was Justin Hall. And that's when I met Justin Hall.
Yeah.
And then, talking to James, we found out that that's the same truck. So it's kind of funny. Yeah.
All right. He also owns a Zook.
He does.
And an 80
That's
series.
a trailer queen.
Yeah.
I don't know. And an 80 series.
Yeah.
I think he said he owns 4 Toyotas. 2 Toyotas and 2 Suzukis. Yeah. But it has 1-ton axles under it. Nice. Suzuki 1-tons.
All right. So that was our crew.
I feel like we're missing somebody.
It was a good group.
Well, we got Brian.
Huh? Brian? Oh,
Tour
yeah.
guide Taco came
Tour
through.
guide Taco. Who's got a, I don't know, 01 through 04 quad cab Tacoma, Dana 44.
Super 44.
Super 44 front axle. So the outers are 60s and the center sections are 44 stuff. It's out of like a 78 to 79 F100 pickup truck.
Whoa.
Yeah. Dual cased behind the 3.4. Automatic. Yep. And E-locker rear. Probably E-locker front, I'm assuming. I don't know. Can you E-locker those things? I don't know. Yeah, very capable rig. I got to putt around in it a little today.
Mm-hmm. It was
Drove up
fun
a
watching
wall.
you run around and play.
Yeah, that was fun. Did we get everybody?
Hope so.
There's 9 rigs total. I don't know. I
It's
think we're
too late
missing
now.
Somebody.
I'm sure if
Well,
somebody
your
else
rig.
Oh, well. Lexus LX 450 35s, Icon suspension. That's
What
about
year
it.
is it?
It's a 97. Yeah.
Does it make ice cubes in the center console?
No.
No.
It'd be nice, though.
That would be cool.
It would be nice. Yeah.
All right. You
Absolutely.
satisfied now, Tyler?
Yep.
Okay.
The main
Alright.
thing I wanted to hit on was the wide range of vehicles we had.
Absolutely. Okay. So now we're at Ellis Creek?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bathroom break.
Bathroom break? Still no dramas? Where do we go after there?
From there, you pretty much, we have this, what we call a Z-turn, or an S-turn. I'm not quite sure which way you consider it, but Z-turn. The audience says Z-turn. I'm not sure if it has an actual name to it, but it leads you up to Walker Hill. And Walker Hill was pretty uneventful for the most part as well. Everybody got up that fine. A few of us took up on Upper Walker, a few of us took the little canyon, the little V notch, and we all got up to the cell phone tree fine for the most part.
Yep.
Did everybody have their cell phone at the cell phone tree?
No. One of us was missing their cell phone when we got to the cell phone tree.
But we didn't know that till after we left Cell Phone Tree.
That's true, but we didn't get the 2 cabooses. Did not cabasi? I don't know what's a plural for cabooses. Caboose.
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 Caboose. The cabooses walked backwards and was looking for the phone for a little while, and wasn't until a Jeep drove through and found it in the little V notch, unmolested. It was not broken. It would not run over. It had no problems to it. Not even cracked. Still mint, he's saying over there.
So nice.
So lucky. So yeah, so found the phone, went back to the cell phone tree.
Yep. Okay. So down Cell Phone Tree. What's after Cell Phone Tree?
Well, by that time you guys were already at Soup Bowl.
Oh, yes. So we got to be at Soup Bowl for a little bit.
Yep.
And then, I think we did the usual at an obstacle, as everybody stares at for a little bit. And then we see who musters up and is going to go play on it first.
So who was first?
I think first was Hustle.
The 85 pickup.
The 85 pickup?
Yep.
Custom built 85 pickup?
On Spider Tracks axles.
Yeah, custom
Yep.
body. Yeah, so Hustle Nuts went up at first.
Yeah, of course, no issues.
Yeah.
No problems. And then, what was it, Nick that was next?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
I believe it was Nick.
Was it Nick?
and
Nick that went next. Nick had never done Soup Bowl before.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I jumped
yeah.
in the
So-
passenger seat.
Well, has he never done it before, or never done it in that
Never done it
four-door
before.
JK with a truck
Never
bed?
done it
Never
before.
done it at all.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Apparently, he bought the 80 and built it so that he could take it up Supo.
But he left it parked in a friend's yard and didn't bring it out here on a Toyota run.
Absolutely.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he got up. It took him a little bit.
He wanted to back off, and we were like, if you want to back off, you can back off. That's fine. But if we just put one rock here to pop your tire up, you're going to get right up it, no problem. And he goes, this doesn't feel good. We're like, you're not going anywhere. You're not rolling over. Your slider's on the rock. And he goes, I don't care. It doesn't feel good. This is way past this rig's tipping point. And we're like, calm down. Let us put a rock there.
It was pretty tippy inside there.
Was it on the rear tires, like trying to climb the wall?
The rear driver.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just had that little ledge to pop up right there. And as soon as we put like, I don't know, a baseball-sized rock in there, maybe a softball, and he popped right up the ledge.
That was it?
Went right up.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all it needed.
Yeah, that was a fun ride. Definitely.
And then who was next?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Open, trying to go up
Open, going up Supple. You did pretty damn good for open. You were like way up on the line and everything. It was just like you needed another tire of traction going.
Yeah, so Jacob didn't realize that his lockers weren't engaging. The lights were turning on, but he would attack that obstacle, and everybody's like, turn your lockers on. And the compressor was out. So you backed off at that point and was trying to evaluate what's going on, and then somebody was next.
Yeah. I guess I was last.
No, you weren't.
Huh? No, who was
I
next?
was last.
Okay. So then
I think.
Was it me next?
Yep.
Or did James do it?
James went after you.
Yeah, so James was last.
Well,
so it was Rimno was next.
You guys just went up
yeah.
It's just like no.
No, I want to hear your story about going up Soup Bowl. I saw was this puddle of oil.
Oh yeah.
That's why I couldn't make it up.
You didn't make it?
I did not.
Oh.
No.
I did leave my sway bar in.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna see
You
if it
didn't
really made a
disconnect it.
difference.
Well, we can find
I
out
don't
on the
know.
way back if you have power steering.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the confidence level is like that. I have power steering now, but yeah, mustered up enough courage to give it a shot.
Yeah.
And tried a few times. Supposedly it was on the right line. It climbed up. I got the wheels up on top.
Really?
Yeah, right?
Yep.
And then just couldn't crest.
Wow.
Yeah, I kept getting the radius arm stuck on the that shelf essentially.
Radius arm problems.
Yep. Radius arm issues.
Yeah,
the FJ80 radius arms, they're great. They're stout. They take a beating, but they stick so low underneath the axle and underneath the body and everything. And you kept getting it hung up on that shelf, and we couldn't get you to not get them hung up. And when those were hanging you up and high sending you on the shelf, essentially, you just couldn't get any traction on the front end.
Yeah, just gave it a shot. Would have been for the rest of the day. I was thinking about it.
I'm sure.
Wanting to get up it.
Yeah.
So, that would have been a mark of glory.
So by that time, James and I got there, because you weren't even on there. Or maybe you were just like coming back off of it or something.
Oh, okay. I was already off by the time.
Yeah, you
coming
were
down.
off by the time that we got there, and then it was open, and everybody was looking under Jacob's hood. No sexual reference there, but and so the line was open, and so I just attacked it. And I've done Soup Bowl a few times, so I know the line. I know where I need to put my tires, and my driver's side tire needs to get into that crack and climb up the crack, and then once it crests, like hard passenger, and then pulls it over usually.
Yeah, just popped up and over.
And then James pretty much did the same thing, followed me in my footsteps, and went in the same line for the most part that we did. And he had to back off once, Tyler. He had to back down a little bit.
Yeah, I was trying to get him up essentially the same line that we had Nick go up, and it just wasn't working. And then we moved him over to your line, and as soon as we did that, he popped right up.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that's a cool little spot. And definitely test your sliders out.
Yeah.
You're just on them.
Well, I know. I remember the very first time that I did that obstacle. I thought that like the milliseconds before you impact your slider, I'm like, I'm going over. Like, this is it.
It doesn't feel good when you're in there. Yeah.
You are fully relying on the fact that you have rock sliders.
Yeah, and that they're welded correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, a little freaky.
Mm-hmm.
So done with Soup Bowl.
Yep.
What was after that?
You just head down the trail a little bit more. You pass winter camp and you get over to Little Sluice.
Where the fun starts for the first day.
Yeah, how long did we spend at Little Sluice?
2.5 hours?
Yeah, that was a
Something
long
like
time.
that. It was a while.
Is it that long? Wow.
So I want to hear the story about the guys that were in Little Sluice when we showed up. You said there was something going on with them where they were they were saying they've always been on this trail and know what's going on. I don't know.
So the guys that found the cell phone.
Oh, that was them?
That was them.
Okay.
And they were like, it was funny because the guy's like, I've been on this trail since I was a young kid. I know it really well. This is, I know my lines. I know where I need to go. And he was driving like an old school MB Jeep that was totally fixed up. It was really clean, really nice. And I was like, okay, great. Well, all my friends are down at Soup Bowl, so you're probably going to run into him. And he's like, where's that? I'm like, wait, you've been on this trail for like 40 years or something like that, and you don't know Soup Bowl? Like, yeah, I was like, oh, interesting. And so his line in Little Sluice was to drive like a third of the way into the rock garden and then turn hard passenger and drive up the wall and bypass the big rocks.
Yeah, we were sitting down like at essentially the exit of the area to go take the bypass, right?
Yeah.
And I'm watching the two Jeeps down in Little Sluice, and all of a sudden they just took they were like going down, and all of a sudden took a hard right and bailed out of Little Sluice. And I was like, I guess it was too much for him. I didn't know what was going on.
No, that's his line that he's been driving for 40 years or something, I guess.
That's the line? It wasn't like he was bailing out? That's the line through Little Sluice for him?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't a very small wheelbase vehicle, but then they were some big rocks, but I thought it should have been able to do it, but...
It's a Jeep thing. We wouldn't understand.
Bypasses.
That's right.
No.
There you go.
There it is.
Jeep trails.
There it is.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and then so we all started going through. Who went first? You did the shelf.
I went up on the shelf.
Hussman and Dave.
Yeah, Hussman,
and
Dave, and
Jacob
went
went through it before us, but they were like a little ways ahead of us. They were like already up at Merlin's table. Where'd you guys eat lunch?
Past that at the next shaded camp spot.
Oh, dang. So you guys were past Merlin's table.
Just below old $1,000 hill or whatever.
Oh, yeah, $1,000 hill, yeah. Below $1,000 hill, eating lunch while we were all playing in Little Sluice.
Mm-hmm.
Planning on eating lunch.
And then, so who went first? Who went first up Little Sluice? Because I was at the end.
Tyler probably.
No, Tyler
I took
went
the shelf around. So I took the shelf around and then hiked back down, and one of the Tacomas was coming through, I think. I don't remember which one, though. If it was Ray or it was Rob. No, it was Rob. Rob came through first because we had to set up all the rigging for the winch lines.
Oh, yeah.
And it was all his rigging, so.
Got it.
Yep.
Yeah, so the Tacomas did fine for the most part, but there was just a few boulders that they got hung up on, bellied out on, high centered on, hit their front end on, hit their rear end on.
Caught their loose spring hangers on.
But otherwise they did great.
Yeah.
Oh, for the trip? Fantastic. You're
No,
amazing.
even in Little Sluice, but yeah. So we had to pull them over like the last ledge to get them through Little Sluice.
Mm-hmm.
But after watching the Jeeps, they were kind of like, we could do this. And they did a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
They did pretty good.
They did pretty much all the way up until that last little FU couple of rocks where there's not a whole lot of line options.
Nope.
They did great. It's just Little Sluice is right at the end there. It's just you need ground clearance. And if you don't have it, then you winch through one, maybe two rocks, and then you're good to go.
Nasty
So.
little section.
Yeah.
Then did
Definitely.
I go?
No, I think Lee went in the Jeep.
Oh,
Oh
after
yeah.
that.
Lee drove the Jeep
I
through.
drove the Lazy Boy.
Okay.
A lazy boy.
Oh, that thing is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Better be.
Yeah.
I know.
Well,
it
yeah.
looks expensive.
Yeah, it's very nicely built.
Yep.
Gladiator. All the things are on it, and Nick was like, "Yeah, you want to drive it?" I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Why not?
A little scared. Jumped in. And he's
Did
like,
you have to start it by saying, "Hey Siri"?
"I tried
start?
to turn it off that way."
You tried to turn off that.
Yeah, because later on in the day, it's like, I forgot to turn it off. So, Alexa, turn off Jeep. Didn't work.
No internet.
No. But he's like, yeah, just get in and go to M1. I'm like, what?
What's an M1?
What in the hell's M1?
Is that a radio station?
That's isn't that a channel or a tunnel in London
The
Yeah,
M1?
yeah.
or
A
a highway? I think it's a
Maybe.
highway in London.
Yeah, it's just press all these buttons, press that button to lock it, and put it in M1, and that's it. You just point it, and
then you take a
went
nap.
straight up. Yeah. The hardest part was not giving it too much gas at once, because it has all the horsepower. It'd probably just look like the rest of the Jeep guys we saw coming up the rumbles.
Yeah.
Right, so I can see how they pin it to win it, because it's just so easy. Where you pin it to win it in the Land Cruiser, nothing happens.
You need more torques.
Yeah. So yeah, I took that up, and yeah, after seeing the Tacomas go through and everything else, I was worried about taking the Land Cruiser up through that, because it just looks nasty.
Yeah, it is nasty.
And so after that, I was like, well, I really should take the Land Cruiser up just to have a comparison of what it's like in my rig and what it's like in pretty much fully built Jeep, right?
Yeah.
So
Jeep and Lee.
it was dumb. the lazy boy did things. So yeah,
You regret?
no, it's all learning.
Did
all
you find
good.
a Starbucks gift card dispenser in there too?
I know. I was looking for the button
You're
and
looking for that
The
one?
Frappuccino button.
where I could pull the venti cup out of the ceiling and fill up a mocha twisty lavender frap with
I'm surprised they didn't have
soft
like a stock of Trenta cups back in that camper area in the bed.
Probably do. We just
Yeah.
never were invited in.
That's
Yeah,
true.
That's fair.
Little coffee bar set up in there too.
Yep.
So, what did you think of driving the Gladiator versus driving your Lexus?
Night and day difference.
And
Yeah.
why do you think driving the Lexus was drastically more difficult?
I think the control that it has with the anti-rock bars and the amount of flex that thing has, plus the what, it's on 40s?
I think it's on 40s, yeah.
On 40s
40-inch Nittos.
and all the power linked pretty much. It just goes up, and if you're on the wrong line, it doesn't matter.
Right.
You don't have to pick a line. The car doesn't care. And when you bounce and hit off something, it all feels like one unit, and the tires are just down there pulling you up. Where
in the Lexus?
yeah, the Lexus, it feels like you have suspension underneath you doing things and moving and creaking and whatnot. And the armor kind of feels like it's there to protect you in the Land Cruiser, where in the Jeep it feels like it's part of the Jeep. When you thud and hit something, it just feels very solid. Which is different than I felt in the Toyotas, and even in my first gen 4Runner. When I wheeled that a tiny bit. So it's a very different experience.
Yeah. Interesting. Cool. Good to know. Well, then I went through Little Sluice and I popped a bead at the beginning.
I'd never seen before.
Yeah, I've never had that problem. After even airing down to like 4 psi on non-bead locks, I never popped a bead before. So I was at like 6 psi and drove over this pointy rock, and it burped all my air out, and I came back down, and then we realigned things and got the Morflate out, the Morflate compressor, and blew it right up.
Yeah,
no problem.
Jacked up the axle a little bit.
Yep. Then I went around the pointy rock, and
I still think you went on top of the pointy rock, but then you weren't. That wasn't your only tire up on a rock at that point.
Okay.
You climbed both the rocks then.
Got it.
Yeah.
And so, climbing multiple rocks worked out better than just one rock. And I had some fun going through Little Sluice. It was kind of uneventful for me, just climbing some big rocks or trying to climb bigger rocks and not working, and then trying to go to smaller rocks. So it was a good time.
Nice. All right. So after that, what was next? What's the next obstacle in our way?
Well, then you start coming up on Indian Trail and Arnold's Rock area.
Yeah, Arnold's Rock was fun. You led everybody up the long wheelbase line.
The long wheelbase line,
which is right as you're entering, you head up to go on the left side of Arnold's Rock, and James and I tried to go through the little squeeze between it. And
yeah, how'd that work? I never heard anything about that. I just assumed you guys just went through just fine.
No, I didn't make it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had a bad line or something, but yeah, I got pretty high centered and turtled, and I was able to reverse off of it, but I was had to realign myself a few times to reverse off of it. And but yeah, the other side, you have to climb these 2 big rocks, and the other side of those rocks are really dug out. And so I was not getting traction to pull me over. Okay. And so I went up and around Arnold's Rock, and then James went up it, and he thought he was going to be good, or maybe take a little scratch, but then flew into Arnold's Rock. And that's how he got the dent on his front driver's side fender.
Oh, that's where it happened.
Yep.
Okay.
A pretty decent dent.
Yeah.
But then, from there to...
Was it bigger than the dent that Rhonda put in Bobcat?
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's a good size dent.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Fenders are cheap, though.
Yep.
Yeah, and easy to pop out.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Yeah, and then once you pass Arnold's Rock, we got to the tree where Glenn hangs out, and your truck died.
Yeah. Yeah, my leading up to that, pretty much from the time where you kind of come through that little V-notch as you're starting to hit onto Indian's Trail and getting over to Arnold's, my whole 12-volt system would cut out for a split second. And my lights, my dash would go dead. My stereo would completely shut off and then reboot, and I was like, man, what is going on? And it happened 3 or 4 times before I was like, okay, I need to look into this. This is something bad is happening.
Your car kept dying.
Yeah, it was, and every time it did, the engine would sputter out real quick, but then come back in, like the injectors just stopped for a second and then come back on. And so once we got to Glenn's tree, pretty much we Hussman pulled out of the way so that we could put my rig there in the shade, and as soon as I pulled up in the shade there, the whole thing just died, and I was like, well, all right, this is where it is, we're gonna start looking things over now.
It was a good spot.
It was a good spot. So the way that all my electronics are set up is I have a different load wire onto the batteries depending on what they're running, right? So my main fuse box is on its own wire. I've got the winch on its own wire. I've got the stereo and the amp on its own wire, and all the things are on their own little circuits, right? So I was like, all right, let's look at the circuit for the main fuse box and start tracing that around. And the 50 amp fuse was completely melted through.
And this is behind and underneath his rig,
yep,
where maybe in the kind of spare tire area is where he's got 2 AGM batteries mounted upside down.
Yep.
So, which lent to some shade. And you could sit up because the rig's nice and tall.
Yeah, that is one of the benefits of having the batteries there. It's one of the few spots I can sit up underneath the rig.
I spent some time under there recently also.
You did?
Yeah.
When?
Moab.
Oh, that's right, yeah. there was a few people under the rig in Moab, yeah. But yeah, we ended up tracing it back and trying to figure out why it had melted, if there was just an excessive load on the circuit that it wasn't handling or what. And we ended up coming to the conclusion that it was just, we think that there got water intrusion in the 50 amp. It's one of the big ass blade fuses holders. We think some water intrusion got in there, caused some corrosion, which increased resistance. When you increase resistance, you get a lot more heat, which melted everything. So,
yep. So
we cut that out.
You tested with a few smaller fuses first, and we multimetered it all out just to see if anything was grounding out. Played with that, and then finally figured out a way to put a fuse in there.
Yeah, everything looked good from checking the circuit on everything. So what we ended up doing was we took a 65 amp MIDI fuse and put ring terminals on either end of some wire, and then bolted the ring terminals to the MIDI fuse, and then put the wire back on the battery. And it all held just fine. Then we wrapped the shit out of it with some electrical tape, and off we went. Everything worked great.
It's been good since.
Yep.
So then we started a trek down the hill.
Yep.
Right, because we weren't far from here at that point.
Not terribly far.
Not too bad.
We cruised down Indian Trail. A few of us took a few different lines. It's kind of a choose your own adventure. You know, you can go, down the left. It's steep, down, like sort of drops, but then at the bottom you have some off-camber turns, or you can go down the way Nick went, which isn't really even a line, but he made one up, and you can go to the right, which has a smooth decline with a rocky section sort of at the bottom, and then you pop out on the flats out there, sort of off-camber flats, and stay high, and it's not so bad. And you get down to the bottom, and there's this little cross-up area, which is always fun for photos and checking your suspension and testing some things out. And
yeah, I would like to point out, as we were coming up to that, I kind of explained what was going on right there. I was like, hey guys, if you want to go off to the left, it's a nice little Z-turn thing that just crosses over your suspension and gets you just really articulated. I don't like going over there because I don't have the greatest bump stop, so I go over to the right and go around all that spot, and I come in back on the, after that little Z-turn articulation area. And so Ray didn't hear apparently which side was which.
Nope.
And so he goes, okay, so the easier side is to the left. And I guess he asked Rob, and Rob said yes, or somebody told him yes. And so he went around to the left and ended up going through the more difficult side unknowingly, and got down there, and he goes, this isn't where I wanted to be. I was like, oh, too bad, you're coming through now.
Yeah, I pulled up next to him, and he rolled down his window, and he's like, this is the easy way? I'm like, no.
Nope.
That's that way, the way the Jeep went.
Yeah.
But he made it through just fine?
The Jeep?
No. Ray.
Yeah, the Jeep did fine on the bypass.
I mean, the Jeep did fine on the Jeep trail?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
how did Ray do?
Ray did fine.
Okay.
My four-door Rubicon did great on the bypass as well, the Jeep trail.
Okay.
So.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No, both the tacos did great. They
did.
actually did really good the entire time. For being low, I think being low was their real major hindrance.
Low and a long wheelbase.
Yeah, but they're a little longer than Bobcat, but they're not. I think just how low they were.
Yeah.
Was they needed to be taller because they're so long.
Mm-hmm. Need the breakover angles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they're going to have all kinds of CV issues up in front, right?
Because how long's a Gladiator? Like 140 inches?
Yeah,
40 plus?
Yeah.
But when it's on 40s, it's pretty good. So
40s fix everything?
40s, yeah, 42s are even better. So yeah, that was a fun little area. After that, there's this little V like area that you before you get into Buck, and we had fun going down there and pulled into Buck, and Tyler and I pulled off to say hi to Dave McKinney and Rubicon Trail Adventures. Talked to him for a split second, and then by that time, Dave, Tyler, and Jacob were already trying to find camp. They were already up at Buck. They were already we were trying to find a spot past
Hussman, Dave Hussman and Jacob.
Oh, sorry. Hussman. I meant
I was
Hussman.
like, huh? I was still down talking to Dave when they were finding camp.
Sorry, yes. Dave, Hussman, and Jacob were already past Tree Line looking for a campground out this way. We wanted something a little bit farther, a little bit past Buck, because the next day we knew we had some wheeling to do. So they found us a great campsite. I don't think my only complaint with this one is mosquitoes, but I don't think anywhere around the lake that would change.
No.
So, I really like this campsite. I think it's a really nice one.
Yeah, this place is great.
I don't think we had any real hiccups on the way over the dam or anything. Oh, we had fun at the mini slit. We had fun at mini slit Soup Bowl.
Yep.
Mini slick rock spot.
Yeah, some people call it Rev Limit Hill. Some people call it Mini Soup Bowl, apparently. Yeah.
I like Rev Limit Hill. That makes sense, especially at night.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody likes to play on that at night.
Yeah, Nick was like, hey, you want to go play over here? I'm all, play on what? So there's Mini Soup Bowl over there. I was like, well, since Soup Bowl already killed me once or denied me once.
Let's try it again.
Yeah.
Let's see if the mini one's bad.
Yeah.
So
it's just this double ledge that it doesn't seem like it matters what wheelbase you have. You always get caught in the double ledge.
Yeah.
And so you can't crawl up it. You have to kind of just hit the rev limit and go and hope you get enough traction to go. So
give it a solid Moab bump.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody made it up that.
Yeah.
No big issues.
It was fun showing James how to walk the crawler.
Yeah.
So that was
play with the throttle and try to give it a little goose to try to get it to climb and not spin too much. But then when it is, you let off a little, but you don't want to fall backwards and down, so you have to keep the throttle in. Yeah.
I was talking about the walking it across the ledge.
Oh, that's
so
what you
just
meant?
keep all four tires spinning and turn one way or the other, and you just kind of end up walking 15 feet just completely sideways.
Yeah,
crab walking the vehicle across the ledge until you get traction and pulls you up.
Yep. Yeah, that's fun too. On the way up, we met some guys that Tom knew from I'm not sure where, but they've done trails together. And they had a broken Land Cruiser that was ripping a Panhard or track bar or something off.
Yeah, with the axle bracket.
Yeah, was being ripped off the axle. They asked if we had a welder, and we said yeah. And they said, "Cool, where are you camping? We'll bring the rig to you." Wasn't completely ripped off. They wrapped it in hose clamps to try to hold it together. And so we told them where we were camping, and they said, cool, we'll stop by later, let you guys make camp. And so they came by later, but
we skipped my my thumping of the at the Rubicon.
What?
We skipped my thumping of the Rubicon.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, so on the way to camp, let's see, since we were parked a little farther, we went over the dam, and then we went up the little steep section, and a few of us took different routes. And then we went to Tree Line, and a bunch of us took different routes. Rob went... Did you go, Tyler? Did you go to the left side?
Yeah, I always go left there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I went left there, and it's just a really tight turn, and then Rob followed me, and he's got another 2 feet wheelbase than I do, so he ended up doing like a 5-point turn right there to get around that tree, and then he came up the double ledge, not the same one down at the lake, this is a different one, And he got high centered really good on that ledge. And I was like, oh, totally didn't think about that.
Yeah.
So everybody else came up over near tree line.
Yeah, most everybody
around that
else came up near tree line.
Mm-hmm.
Tom was leading a bunch of people up that route. Lee was the first one up, and then he got suckered into helping Rob get unstuck.
Nice heavy Lexus to pull a third gen Tacoma up off a high center.
And then by that time, Ray was like, I ain't going that way.
Yeah.
So he turned around and went up and followed Lee.
Yep.
And then James and I went up on
the center line.
The center line, yeah. And pretty much walked it, which was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I took a slightly different approach line to center line, and that worked out great. And then James tried to attack it straight on. Had a little problems, but once I moved his rear end over a little bit, he walked up, had no problems as well. And then from there, you kind of go up this another little tiny, like, slick ledge and a few little climbs. The trail seemed pretty filled in, so a lot of the places that I recall being a little off camber had a ton of rock in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of fill rock on the trail right now. They're getting ready for Jeepers Jamboree.
Yeah.
So that's coming up in a few weeks here.
And then there's this one spot where there's a decent little drop, and over the radio, Lee's like, wait, which way do I go? I go, well, if you go up the hill, that's the hard line to the left. And if you go right, it swings you around this little hill, and you meet up on the other side. And Lee turned left and with like full throttle tried to drive to the top of this hill.
There were a few ledges on that hill.
There were a couple ledges,
so
yeah.
And he
crested
plowed.
the first one.
Like, he did, yes, his spotter was not with him. He like tried to move the top of the mountain off with his front axle.
It's a chop top.
And he lost.
I did. I lost bad.
And I didn't realize it at the time. I just thought you and Nick were standing up there to just kind of BS and figure out your line. And so I went up and I crawled up to you guys and started trying to crawl up that ledge.
Yeah, now
and
Jimmy's on the left of me. Like 2 feet over.
And I needed to try to walk the ledge to the right to see if I could get grip. But Lee was there, stopped. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you still here? Like, get out of my line. You're not going to make this. And then one of you is like, I think it was Nick's, like, have you seen his tie rod and drag link?
Nick didn't think the vehicle was movable at all.
No, he didn't. It was literally like in an S. It, like where he hit the rock, bent up, but like it bent up so fast, and his rig had no idea what was going on. The ends were like going opposite directions, and it was like this. You know that like emoji with the weird smiley face? It looks like that.
Yeah. My steering damper even has a dent in it. And it's
bet.
bent up.
So, yeah, Nick's like, it ain't moving. And Lee's like, well, let's try. And he like reversed out and turned, and it worked.
Yeah.
It worked just fine.
Got back to camp.
We were like, okay, no
camp.
more doing stupid shit, Lee. Let's get to camp.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the noise he made.
So I backed down.
Yep. And I backed down too, because I was like, let's just get to camp.
Yeah.
And then camp wasn't far from there. Once Lee decided to actually just go to camp, we made it in pretty good time. Yeah, there was no cruising to camp this weekend. There was dragging ass to camp. There's screwing rock sliders to camp. There was nose dive into a wall to camp, and yeah. So at camp, I don't what brought this idea onto you to drive up onto the fireplace and see if you could turn.
You want to know what that was? That was us, man.
I was talking about just like, hey, what do you think? I'm thinking about doing this. And they were already sitting in these chairs on the other side of the fire saying, can you bring it over here?
Can you bring the rig to us so we can look at it instead of us just walk 20 feet over there?
So I brought it to them.
You pulled up on the fire pit.
I pulled up on the fire pit, which worked out perfect.
Yeah.
Gave a little more room under there to assess and pull it apart.
When you went to pull up on the fire pit, like you turned to the passenger side and your drag link like shot up into your oil pan. It bent even further, and we all just sitting there And we all just at the same time.
All the
went,
jaws
"Oh!"
dropped. Everybody was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's
It
bad."
was
I've
great.
never seen one bent like that. I've never seen one bent that bad in my life.
It was literally your drag link was at a 45 degree. I think we figured out.
yeah, it was pretty close.
Between 45 and 90. It was bad. It was really bad.
It was bad.
Oh,
And the
man.
panhard was pushed into the axle.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
you found somebody that had a high lift jack handle.
yeah, wonderful
And
people.
Who was that?
Me.
Oh, okay. I'm just.
And you used it as a fulcrum, and you guys used Jacob's hitch receiver
Uh-huh.
and went to town bending that thing back straight.
Yeah.
And you guys did a fantastic job.
I didn't think that was ever going to get straight again. I was very skeptical of what you guys were trying.
To give the
I
audience,
don't know. I think I was the only one who thought it was going to happen.
maybe. So they straightened the bar so well that they were able to put the high lift jack handle over the bar.
And
Yeah.
granted, like the OD of the drag link was the same, pretty much the same as the ID of the high lift handle.
Yeah.
Maybe
they were
a millimeter,
perfect.
maybe half a millimeter spare.
Yeah. And it was a snug fit, and they straightened the bar enough to be able to slide it into it. It was insane, incredible.
It was very impressive.
And it was the perfect length too.
Yep.
Yeah.
The high lift bar was the perfect length to
Yeah.
fit it on there and get the clamps on afterwards to attach the tie rod ends.
You need to write up an I hate mud thing for it.
Yeah.
Woody would be so happy of you.
Yeah.
The new high lift drag link for
Mhm.
the Lexus.
Yeah, we'll do that.
And then you reached over with your winch.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we tried to winch off of Tyler's rig
And
first.
almost rolled me over.
Almost rolled his rig to try to straighten your panhard
That's
bar.
not that bad.
And then you just went straight down to your panhard bar and pulled it out, and that seemed to work. But did it break your rope? I kept hearing things.
It broke the rope protector.
Uh,
That little
The Fairlead?
no.
the condom.
Yeah.
Oh, the rope condom.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
little
The cloth.
UV sleeve.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So it broke that, and it sounded terrible.
It
Yeah, it
did.
did.
Like just like ripping, fabric sound. But yeah, got that pulled out, no problems, and buttoned everything up.
Yeah,
You're good to go.
yeah.
So that was really the only repair back at camp, right?
That day.
Monday evening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We made tacos.
we did.
Mm-hmm.
We had some
They were
tacos
tasty.
and some rice and some beans.
Yep, and a few different entrees and appetizers.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was fun.
Some fantastic
Good.
Oreos.
Yeah,
I
those
think
toffee
they're still
Oreos.
over there.
No, they're
Nope.
done.
Oh, they got done.
Except for the
They-
4 in Tyler's pocket.
3. I ate one of them.
Uh-huh.
There's
Nice.
actually 2 under my pillow too. So
Nice. There you go.
Yeah.
Then we had a few drinks, hung out. I think we went I was one of the last crowd to go to bed, and I went to bed at like 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
It was about a lot. I think you and me put out the fire.
Yeah, we did.
So and then we're out after that.
Somebody shook. There was a bear or something shaking
There
my
was-
rig in the middle of the
I had to
night.
chase him off.
Serious?
Yes. There was a bear shaking Lee's rig, and I had to get up and shoo him off, man.
I don't
In
believe
the
you.
middle of the night, woke me up.
It was right about 11 o'clock.
Got it.
When the fire needed to be put out and they had
Yeah.
to find a shovel.
Oh, yeah, that's
There
right.
was a shovel on top of Lee's
Yeah.
rig, and a bear went and got it, apparently.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we needed a shovel to turn the fire.
It was
Make
a
sure it was fully out.
Yeah.
So unless you want another bear attack, you might want to pull that shovel off tonight.
That's a good idea. That is a fantastic idea.
So that was good.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Well-
the end of the first day.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're at an hour and 3 minutes.
Oh, well, can finish the rest later.
Yeah.
Or
Or
before that, we have to ask the questions.
What's that? What questions?
Your favorite food at camp?
Oh,
Favorite meal at camp?
peanut butter and honey. Duh.
Nice. What kind of bread?
I like wheat bread.
Okay.
And I don't usually do it, but I do like to prepare the sandwiches before because I actually like it when the honey soaks into the bread.
Okay. Have you tried grilling it? with butter.
No, but that sounds good. I'd do it.
I implore you to try
Okay.
grilling it with butter and then having it. So then all the peanut butter is all melty and warm and hot, and you get that crunchy, savory outside.
I do another kind of hack that's parallel with that one is open face peanut butter, honey, and bananas for breakfast.
Ooh.
That's always a fun one.
Okay. Tyler, favorite camp meal?
Steak.
Yes.
Just steak.
Pretty much that was your dinner tonight, right? It was just
that was my dinner
steak.
tonight. It was a steak, and then I had Oreos as well.
Crumbled on top.
Now I had a steak. God, what did we have? I had chips and salsa. There was the potato salad left over from last night. And there was something else. I don't remember now. Oh, balls.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The balls came out.
Yep, the balls came out.
I'm going to have my balls tomorrow.
Nice.
Okay.
I have extra balls.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, then
There's
maybe I will. I'll have my balls and your balls tomorrow.
That works. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Brian, I was a little disappointed. Brian said he didn't want my balls, but that he would take my meat.
He took your meat.
He did take your meat.
He did take my meat.
He did take your meat.
Yes.
And he screamed like a little girl about your balls.
It's true. He did.
Very good.
Oh,
well,
man.
thanks again to you guys for the wonderful event and having us. It's very well done. Everybody had a fantastic time. And an extra thank you to Tommy for being my passenger and spotter. It was, if you're going to come to the Rubicon for the first time and you can get somebody to sit with you that's been on the trail and spot you through and knows the turns and what's coming up, it is amazingly helpful.
That's awesome.
So
Otherwise,
I want to ask the question before we sign off with Re-Rim. How did this compare, the trip out on the trail, and how did the trail compare to what you thought it was going to be?
Oh, nice question.
Thank you. It's actually Jimmy's question.
Oh, okay. Well, good job.
Thank you.
It is, I think, is what I thought it would, like, in my head, I envisioned it to be very difficult and doable at the same time. And I thought I thought my rig would be on the cusp of what was needed for me, I guess, to do through this trail.
Is that because it has a fridge?
Yeah. And it's heavy.
Yes.
Not a ton of extra horsepower for that amount of weight. It's not built to be a rock crawler.
You don't really need horsepower, though, for this trail. There's not really a whole lot of places, other than Revlimit Hill, that you really need horsepower out of your vehicle.
No, I mean...
You need torque and you need gears.
You do need at least the lower gears. Like, if I didn't have the transfer case lower 10%, then... there'd been a lot of places I wouldn't have been able to get up rocks that I was able to here. Because, like, when we did Turkey Claw at KOH, there are places where I just had the gas pinned and wouldn't pull up a rock. And now I can. And I can totally feel the difference. And I can feel the difference in how the vehicle lurches after coming up to the top of something and unloading when you don't need as much horsepower because you've reached the top of a rock or something and coming down. So I'd say that was a must.
Okay. Yeah.
For something like here, for me, the 35s, I think, and at least a 3-inch lift.
Right. So you were saying, though, that you thought your vehicle was at the bare minimum because the trail is so difficult. So is that...
I think at
was
the
that
bare
perception?
minimum...
Was that real?
Well, I guess I would say bare minimum and not feel like you were the complete anchor for the entire trip.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
Because the rigs here were, in this group, are capable.
Yeah.
and all built for this purpose, right?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I don't think the Tacomas are necessarily built for this trail, but they were built to be somewhat of rock crawlers, and they did fine, just like you did.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't think their purpose built is for the, rock crawling boulders kind of scenario that the Rubicon is.
That's true. And they're awesome wheelers.
Yeah.
They're good drivers.
Yeah, they're great drivers, and both of them knew their rigs really well.
Yeah, and have had a lot of wheel time.
Yes, absolutely.
To get them through. So, yeah. But I felt like I got stuck, in spots enough times to need spotting or back up and go back at it and things like that. Winch here and there, stack rocks here and there, but not where it was like every single rock that was going to happen. But as far as the Rubicon and what I thought it was going to be, I think it lined up with what I expected, and at some point I was like, I thought it was undoable, until I became experienced enough or could wheel technical trails enough, and then I kept hearing, yeah, you'll be fine. You got 35s, the wheels, the rigs, plenty built. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. You'll get through it, and you'll do well. And I kept hearing that so many times. I thought, well, maybe it's easier than I think it is in my head. So it flipped both ways.
Okay. And do you feel that your rig was built enough and capable enough for the trip?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it did really well. And I think I did decently, and I could do better, but that's with more seat time and more technical crawling and more of and that's part of the reason why it's like, well, here's the hard line, here's the easy line, and I kind of wait and see what your guys' reaction is, and if it's no, that's completely out of your range, or if it looks something that's somewhat doable, or at least I can get my wheels on, then maybe I'll give it a shot.
I don't think that's true. I think you just went to the hard line every single time.
Pretty much.
Yeah. What? Don't go to the left. He goes to the left. This is Little Sluice. This is like one of the top 3 hardest things on this trail. Okay, let's do it.
Oops.
Yeah. Oops. Mm-hmm. Sorry, not sorry.
Well, yeah.
But you did it all.
Most of it.
Yeah.
Didn't get Super Bowl.
Yeah. Few do. Mm-hmm. I would say most of the people that get out here on the Rubicon drive right past that.
No.
Don't even try to attempt it at all.
That's too bad.
Yeah, I agree.
So, well, you guys had a vision of what a rig needed to be here. Is that change, or is that the same?
After this trip?
Yeah.
The Tacomas did a lot better than I thought they were going to.
I agree with that.
I thought we were going to be winching them 10 times during the day, and really it wasn't. They did a lot better than I thought. I would say that my opinion on bringing, IFS Tacomas out on the trail has changed, because I've seen them out before, and I'm like, man, you guys are struggling this whole trail down, aren't you guys? And they did awesome. So I think my opinion has definitely changed about that. It really helps that those two guys really know their trucks, and they are really good drivers, and they know where their wheel placements is and how their wheelbase impacts their turning radiuses, and they did great. In my opinion, I still think you can come out here and do the Rubicon just fine if you have I don't want to say a shorter wheelbase, but shorter than a Tacoma, and 33s and a one locker. I think you can get through the trail without a ton of issues. A lot of this trail is, there's 4 different lines for every little spot you come on and come up to, and there's an easy line, a medium line, and a hard line, and then a Nick line that you just kind of get to pick. You go whatever line the rig allows you to go on. So, you in the Lexus, I thought. So this is one of the things that I love about wheeling with you, Lee, and I've loved kind of continually wheeling with you, is that watching you transition and learn and get into this rock crawling world. Where you're learning tire placement, and when you're 1 or 2 inches off of your line, it really matters. And when you can feel that happening in your rig, falling off of your 2-inch line, or figuring out where your diffs are underneath the vehicle, or figuring out where your radius arms are under the vehicle, and choosing your lines appropriately for the way your vehicle is set up. I don't think necessarily you were doing that too much. Like you mentioned out at Turkey Claw back in January, February, but here, as you were coming up Big Sluice, you were making a very concerted effort. I could tell by the where you were placing your tires. I was like, he's figuring it out. It was pretty neat to kind of watch this transition happen. So, I don't think my opinion has necessarily changed about what's needed to be on the trail. I think that a lot of it for coming out on the Rubicon is just like what you said. If you've never done it before, come out here with somebody who knows the trail. You're going to have a way more enjoyable time than if you come out here, because there are so many different line options for every single turn on the trail. It's almost like there's too many options. You don't know which one to choose. And so being with somebody who knows the trail is what I always recommend to people the first time. That's just going to make things that much more enjoyable for you when you're not having to stress about what decisions you need to make throughout the day.
Yeah.
So
there are so many different ways to tackle not even every obstacle, just every 20, 30 feet. Which 2 rocks should I try and go up? Which should I go in this notch or not?
That's a lot of rock crawling right there. It's just like, if I put my tire up on that rock, where is my tire going to end up on the other side? Or the next question kind of is, where's my back tire going to end up? Right? And if I'm putting my tire up there, is my rear axle going to clear that? And it's just all a matter of playing that game of what's my next step, but what's also going to happen when my rig gets into now that I'm transitioning from front to rear, I roll over that rock and my front tire is clear, and my rear tires are getting there. Am I going to try now climb 2 ledges? Am I going to be in the clear? Am I going to hit my rear axle? Am I going to be totally fine? That's rock crawling right there, is understanding what's happening under your rig, as well as trying to plan the next move by the next rock in front of you.
Yeah.
And here it's maybe I have to get over one area so I don't diff, hopefully. But how does that set me up for the next set of rocks that I'm going to diff on too?
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's how many plays can you think ahead? Kind of like pool. It's like, well, if I hit this ball to here, and where do I want my cue ball to end up, so I can take the next 4 shots and clean table.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a pretty good analogy for sure. And I think the more seat time you have, the further ahead on the trail you can envision where you're going to be and where you're going to need to be.
Yeah.
Like the longer you play pool, the better you are at, planning the ball speed to get to the next spot.
Yeah. I think I'm at a move and a half right now.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Sometimes on the trail, I'm right there with you, man.
Or trying it in a move and a half, and then, can I even do that with my rig?
Yeah.
Or how do I do that? So, yeah, fantastic trip. We still have another half to get out from here back to the spillway.
Yep. Yeah, so first day we wheeled from Loon Lake to Buck Island Lake. Today, which maybe we will cover on our podcast and have Lee on for that episode, or we'll figure something out and then we can share episodes one way or another. Today we wheeled from Buck Island Lake to Observation Point and back to Buck Island Lake. And then, tomorrow, which hasn't happened yet, but it will in podcast land, time travel. We wheeled from Buck Island Lake out to Loon Lake and home.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
Let's go.
All right, welcome back from Buck Island, Jimmy.
Yeah. It was fun. After getting eaten by mosquitoes.
I didn't really get eaten. I got eaten a little bit on my ankles because I guess I didn't spray my bug spray down on my socks.
Yeah.
And so, but it wasn't that bad. I was actually came off pretty good.
There was a lot.
It was like when we were packing up on Wednesday morning, we were looking into the sun as the rays of sun were coming through the trees into the lake, and you could just see swarms of mosquitoes.
Yes. No, I don't normally put bug spray on.
Oh,
at all, because the bugs don't bother me. Like the assistant tells stories to friends that she's seen a mosquito land on me and then fly away,
and then just take off,
and they like didn't do anything. But there was so many that the first night when we were there, I layered up. I like put a sweater on, and it wasn't hot or it wasn't cold, but I put a sweater on and I put pants on just to cover my body.
Yeah,
to keep mosquitoes off.
Yeah, the mosquitoes are brutal. They were swarming for sure. Yeah. I highly recommend bug spray if anybody's heading up to the Rubicon at all this year. So, that was a fun trip. It was neat to kind of see everybody's perspective who had not been on the trail before.
Absolutely,
and see if like it lived up to the hype or it lived up to whatever their expectations were of it, kind of thing. So,
and it was neat to hear Lee talk about what he expected on the Rubicon, right? And how his expectations became reality.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that episode. That was day 1. And day 2 and 3, did we talk about the Dragalink with Lee?
His Panhard bar and tie rod?
Yeah, and how it all got fixed. And because I know we talked about him slamming into the rock at full speed. Anyways, we'll talk about it in day 2 and 3 just to make sure he gets covered, because it's a great trail repair. So anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed all of that. Make sure that you go and tag a buddy on Instagram for the EVA foam trays. You have a couple more days to do that. And that's all I got.
Next month's giveaway.
Oh, that's right. Next month's giveaway
is Spartan. What is it? It's a dynamic rope.
Yep.
And 2
soft shackles.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
So
from Spartan ropes.
If you wanted to get into get that giveaway, or have a last chance to get in for the EVA foam trays and the toolbox, you can do so over on iRate 4x4. Go to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast form, and then scroll down or to the sides, and the information for getting in for the giveaway will be there.
Cool. Sounds good, man. I think that about does it. Do you have any final words for everybody?
Just keep crawling.
And with that, my friends, just keep crawling.
I got one for you.
Jokes.
Jokes.
Jokey jokes.
Why did the golfer bring 2 pairs of pants?
In case you got a hole in one.
Nice. Good job.
I think you've said that one before.
Oh, have I?
I think so.
Crap.
300 and how many episodes later you're starting to reuse your jokes?
Yeah, maybe.
Come on, Jimmy.
I got attacked by a group of mimes.
Oh, okay.
They did unspeakable things to me.
Sounds fun.